Functionalities of our, one of the features of our platform is the integration that we have with Realtor.ca, and it's a good, it's a good example of hitting home the message. You don't need to reveal. When we talk about offer transparency, we're not necessarily talking about revealing the exact value of offers. You have the capacity to be able to do that when it suits you, absolutely. But there are many degrees of transparency, and the fact is you are being transparent to some degree, even today in the market. You're letting your buyers know how many other offers there are. So I think a lot of agents look at what we do and they sort of jump to the conclusion, or they make assumptions that transparency equals revealing offer prices to buyers. Doesn't necessarily mean that. It means you can do that as and when you want to, and there's a lot of examples and scenarios where doing that is going to be extremely helpful to you. But there are many layers or levels of transparency that you can use to help you deliver better outcomes for your sellers and clients and win more business. So that's one message that I sort of really like to try and hit home up front, because there are a lot of preconceived ideas around what transparency actually means. So with that said, I'll share my screen, and before we jump into the actual presentation, or the sort of the screen share side of it. Now this slide deck is a work in progress, so forgive my fairly rudimentary design skills for the moment. And, everyone can see that okay?
Yeah, perfect.
So first of all, what I'm just going to cover off on, before we again dive into the sort of under the hood of the platform and show you the user experience, I'm going to cover off the 10 reasons why you're a better agent with Open. And 10's a lot, and sometimes I think no, we're giving away too much, or when I talk about all of these things, just remember, find one or two of these things that you think you can apply to your business. Don't worry about thinking you have to worry about all of these facets of the platform, because you don't. Find what's going to resonate and help you, deliver better service for your clients, make more money, win more business, and focus on those.
It is completely off.
All right, how about the power button on the docking station? Is that still white?
Good to see you taking calls. Could be a listing presentation. Who knows? All right, so let's dive in. Oh, hang on. There we go. There.
So guys, would you like to just mute everybody else except for Ryan? Everybody, please mute your mics. Thank you.
Apologies that I haven't edited this to reflect the word appraisal being an Australian piece of vernacular. So enhance your listing presentation. Basically, if you can think of it like this, you walk into a listing presentation with a seller today. They're getting 2 or 3 other agents in to talk about their property as well. Mr. and Mrs. Seller. The law now enables us to, if we want to, reveal offers to buyers. Now, a lot of agents are unfamiliar with this, or they're uncomfortable with this new capability. We are not. At Sutton, we have incorporated some technology that allows us to very, very quickly and easily reveal offer information to our buyers. And when we do that, those buyers then need to compete on price. Your asking price goes out the window. The comparable sales go out the window as well. These buyers now, they're emotionally attached to your house. All they are worried about at this point is making sure their offer is stronger than the other offer, which they can see. And now if we have 2 or 3 buyers engaging in this competitive situation, the price that we can achieve through that will sometimes exceed any logical estimate of the value of your property based on comparable sales. Now, I can't guarantee what's going to happen, but don't deny yourself the ability to create that competitive environment, because in that circumstance, you could put a changing amount of money on top of your sale price. And that's just one way. You know, we've got a number of ways and sort of tips of how to present this technology to sellers to help you stand out. And you know, over the course of you know, say a year, if you're having that conversation, a lot of our users in Australia will say, look, sometimes the seller will want to stick with a completely traditional campaign strategy, but because I've gone in there and explained something that the other agent hasn't even talked about, they've considering me to be a more professional, more complete agent. And so that is one of the, you know, and I think I said it to David the other day, it's the lowest hanging fruit, because it actually allows you to get benefit of the tech to list more property, sometimes without even interacting with the technology at all. So that is one aspect of it. Now, optimizing your initial asking price. Again, because you have the ability to create this competition between buyers, it gives you another, another avenue by which to explain to your sellers the power of being aggressive with your asking price. Now, obviously, in some cases, your seller wants to start really, really high and give themselves some work, some room to negotiate. Agents, generally speaking, you know, you want to win the business, of course, but you also, you know, you don't want to give yourself a big job as far as bringing that asking price down to market value. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, look, remembering through this process, we have the ability to reveal offers to our buyers in a multiple offer situation. So let's get our asking price at a level where we're going to engage a lot of buyers, knowing that we have that ability to activate that feature and create that competitive environment between them. So it just gives you a more compelling case to your seller as to why they should get aggressive on their asking. Engaging with more buyers. So as opposed to just having a single asking price, i.e. $1 million, now you've potentially got another price that you can use to engage about. If you have an offer on a property at $900,000, now you're able to use that price and engage that existing offer value with your other potential buyers. So yes, our asking price is $1 million. The highest offer we've got at the moment, the highest offer we've had is actually $900,000. So do you see any value north of that sort of money? Again, so enabling you to just have another figure to work with as far as trying to engage and attract offers. More leads via Realtor.ca. Okay, so David, you touched on this one earlier, and feel free to ask any questions, or if anything comes up in the chat, I'm in I'm in my flow here. So you chime in, David or Sabiha, if anyone's in the chat with a question or anything like that, or wants to challenge me on any of this, by all means. More leads via Realtor.ca. This is an Australian example that I thought would be quite compelling. Very, very comparable homes on the market at the same time. The engagement through our dominant online portal was chalk and cheese between these two listings, for the simple reason that the one on the right was disclosing offer data on the portal. And so what does that equate to? A lot more engagement. Now, the Realtor.ca audience is absolutely huge. Let's just jump in. I'm going to jump into another slide presentation very quickly. Here we go. And we'll just show you some of those
So guys, I just Ryan, if I may pause for a second. So what the last two slides very clearly proved to us was that as realtors, there's a lot more traction on your listings, and you're able to get a lot more interest from potential buyers. So it's an amazing lead generation tool as well for yourself as a listing agent, but also trying to work with potential buyers out there in the markets.
Exactly right. And here is just some sort of examples of how that Realtor.ca data feed can look like. We've got here this agent not revealing value of offers, just letting the market know, hey, I've received 8 offers on this property. It compels other buyers. They know that they don't have time to wait. It also impresses potential sellers who are browsing to say, hey, this agent's doing a fantastic job. I wonder how many of these 8 people are interested in our house. So really helping you stand out and drive leads and engagement through that system. You can reveal the offer information if you want to, or you can keep that offer information undisclosed as well. So that's kind of just showing you what that feed looks like, and you can turn that on by basically with the tick of a button. So let's go back to here, get rid of that. And again, just want to hit the message home. Don't have to sort of think about all of this. Find a few of these things that you think you can implement, and just focus on those. So, current slide. Enhance negotiation by creating competition. You've got 2 buyers, 3 buyers. They're not at a or even 1 buyer for that matter. They're not budging. Now you've got the ability to disclose that value. So let's say seller wants $1 million. You've got an offer at 940. You've done all the negotiating you can. You've got a stalemate situation. Now, as an additional tool that you can implement, you can reveal that $940,000 to the rest of the market. Reach out to other people that have inquired, inspected, other people in your database, and say, hey, listen, just want to absolutely confirm that you're not interested in this property north of $940,000. That's our highest offer at the moment. My seller is keen to get an outcome here. Doing that might scare your existing 940 into increasing, or it can engage another buyer who's willing to pay 950. So he doesn't see value at your asking price of $1 million, but sees value at north of 940. Then you've got competition between multiple buyers. So it's helped you to engage that multiple offer situation. If it doesn't, then you've created more compelling evidence for your seller of true market value. So, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I know you want $1 million. However, obviously the offer that we've got is at 940. Now, I have actively reached out to every single buyer's agent who's inquired, inspected on anything comparable to this, or this property for that matter. They've all confirmed for me they're not interested anywhere north of $940,000. We have exhausted. We've done a comprehensive test here, and whilst we can be very confident that this is the best buyer in the market for your property right now. In Australia, all of this, all the things I've talked about here, enhanced negotiation, better seller education on price, more engagement through the portals equates to, not surprisingly, shorter days on market. In Australia, this was a fairly hot year, 2022 nationally. Transparent campaigns selling in an average of 22 versus 33 days. Now, in tough market conditions, that difference is even wider. So, and it's generally about half for open versus blind offer processes. So, through a combination.
I think this is where I think educating realtors and deviating from what we've been doing for so long, this is where a lot of leadership is going to come into play, right? Because there's certain situations where a blind bidding war is advantageous to the seller, right?
Yes.
And you and I spoke about this at length, and 2 years ago, when the federal government said that they're going to try to tackle affordability issues, they set forward an agenda, and they basically said, listen, this is how we're going to do it. And one of the ideas was that, open and transparent offer. It would eliminate this whole bidding process where people are going in and bidding blind. And that was very interesting to me. I thought it was an interesting solution to a very complex problem, which is the affordability crisis that we're seeing in Canada, right? And one of the things I did is I took a very close look at what Australia has been doing for the last 4 to 5 years, because this is not new to you guys. You guys have been doing open and transparent offers for a number of years now.
That's
right?
right. Yes.
And what you found by moving to this open and transparent offer process is that, all things aside, because I mean, there's, economic conditions, market conditions, and all other conditions, but by and large, this has not tackled your affordability issue in Australia. If anything, prices are continuing to increase and they're continuing to rise.
Yeah, look, and ultimately it just comes down to the fact that the seller reserves the right to sell their property with the strategy that they choose. And they, because of that fact, they can look at the circumstances in front of them and choose when to activate transparency and to what level they activate transparency. And because they are in that, in that decision-making position, they make a decision that suits their campaign and their circumstances. So certainly it is an advantage to the seller. There's no question. Now sometimes, and there's no doubt people watching who are in some struggling, some difficult campaigns now, or have had some fairly challenging times with sellers over the past couple of years. A property, when you're able to use transparency to align your seller's expectation and ultimately prove to your seller what their property, is worth by receiving an offer that might be less than they're prepared to take, but then offering that ultimately confirming that all other active buyers in the market are not interested north of that price, that aligns the seller's expectations with the market in a much shorter space of time, which is beneficial to buyers. Now, my argument being it's still beneficial to the seller as well. You've just ripped off a Band-Aid as opposed to pulling it off slowly and painfully over the course of 80, 90, 100, 120 days. You've made them realize the truth about the market in a shorter space of time. So they're still sold that property for more than they would have otherwise, in my view. But there's certainly benefit there to the seller, to the buyer pool, of not having properties sit on the market overpriced for months. So
yeah, I mean that's definitely one way to use the tool, right? But I think for all the realtors are on this call, and the questions that we're getting about open, transparent offers is, am I going to be able to attain the same results for my seller as compared to a closed offer system, right? And I think there's a lot of psychology that goes into this, and this is the research that I've done when I looked at the system 2 years ago when it first started being announced by the federal government. And the idea here, and I want to make this very clear for everybody, because I want everybody to understand what the difference is between a closed and open system, right? In a closed system, if you have two offers and an offer comes in and one offer is $100,000 less than the other offer, that's it. It's basically game over, right? Like you take the offer that's $100,000, the seller is very happy, you think you did a great job. In an open offer process, if that one offer comes in $100,000 over asking, the second offer sees what that line in the sand is. They know what the number is. And they know that if they beat that number by even $1,000, that's what it's going to take to get that property. And now what happens is those two people go up incrementally until one person says, okay, you know what? I'm done. I'm not going up even $1,000 more. Property is yours. So what it creates is it creates a very open process and lets the person who is actually willing to pay the absolute most amount of money move forward and purchase that property, right? So there's a lot of psychology behind this, but if you analyze human behavior, this is actually a much better way of approaching the offer system. And what's unique here is that you get to choose with the seller, if you want to be part of this process. And if you do, there's a very structured software that helps and discloses and integrates with realtor.ca, which really sets you apart. And now we're able to communicate directly with the clients as to what's happening with that property, which is very unique in my opinion.
Absolutely, and look, that's probably a little because of how foreign, sort of the concept of transparency is in the Canadian market. That's probably a little bit frightening, dare I say, for some of the people listening or some agents. All I would say is, at its most basic level, the platform will take care of the transparency that you are providing now. The information that you're sharing about the number of buyers that are competing and a bit of information about maybe that buyer activity. The system will take care of that and share that information with all of the right people in real time, so that everybody knows, hey, now there's 4 offers, now there's 5 offers, etc. So there's nothing scary about it at its most basic level. When you're in a circumstance where you've got 2 offers and they're pretty close, that would be the time. Hey, this might be the time to activate some transparency and familiarize yourself with the process slowly. You don't need to dive into this completely different way of doing things. Just, you can do things pretty well exactly the way you're doing them now, but look for those circumstances to push yourself out of that comfort zone a little bit, because the agent who is equipped and comfortable with creating this transparency is just so much better equipped to get a better outcome for that seller. If you had to choose between an agent who is adept at using this sort of technology and one who's purely using blind processes, there's no question of who you'd rather go for as a seller, because the agent who's adept at transparent processes can do everything that the blind agent can do. They can operate in that manner, but they've got additional tools that can deliver incredible outcomes for their clients. And so, yes, I would agree with everything that you said there and add that as well. Now we want to get into the fun part. So let's let me run through these very, very quickly. Observers, publicity, and promotion. Look, you can, in the same way you can reveal offer information to your buyers, you can also reveal offer information to observers if you want to. Now, what neighbor doesn't want to see what's going on, see the offers coming in for the house across the road? There's all sorts of ways that you can go about driving observers to your listings. We ask those observers if they've got a property to sell. When they're joining as an observer, you get all of their contact information. There's a lot of novelty around this at the moment as well, so you can really capitalize in terms of social media and et cetera, if that's your thing. Save time and stress and comply. You've got this purely the offer management side of it. If you've got a situation where you've got 5, 10, 15 offers, it's just such a breeze to manage that process through the system without even thinking about any transparency other than, like I said, what you're already doing. But anything that this Form 209 could throw at you, the platform makes it a walk in the park to disclose and manage. So that as well. And then finally, more referral business. When you provide your seller with the seller, because your seller gets their own dashboard, they can come in and see what's going on. Obviously, all personal information, etc., is hidden. But when you use this platform, your seller gets an incredible experience. They see that if you engage in competition, they're telling their friends, "Hey, this is the agent you got to use because he's used this system that is absolutely incredible." And so there's tools incorporated into the tech that will help you drive referral business from your seller as well, that being the observer feature. So that's the sort of ways that you can apply this in your role as an agent to ultimately achieve more success. And again, you don't have to think about every single one of them. Just look at how can you implement this into your business to solve the problems and enhance the way you operate as an agent, because everyone's got a different everyone's got a different approach. So that being said, that's let's I'm going to hand over to Trevor. That's a handball. In Australia, we handball football. So I'm now going to handball the mic over to the great Trevor Schmidt. Very well connected, very well educated, and knowledgeable in the Canadian real estate space to do a walkthrough of the system.
Awesome. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Trevor.
Yeah. Okay, so as I go through the platform here, I'm going to have Ryan jump in and talk about any kind of strategies that that might come to his head as we're going through each of the elements of the platform. Also, we do like feedback, and it's kind of more interaction. So if you have questions as we're going through it, just ask away. We love to answer questions about all this. So really what I'm going to show you is a listing agent's dashboard, and I'm going to show you a buyer agent's dashboard, just so you can see what the differences are between the two. I'm not going to bother showing what the seller sees or the buyer sees, because they're really going to see the same things that their own agent is going to see. The major difference is that the seller or the buyer can't manage any of the process. They're just going to be able to see what's happening.
Trevor, before you jump into deep, let's go over the fact that all the information is synced from realtor.ca and the LMS. So, the MLS. So the agents don't have to put in any sort of data entry. All their listings populate, everything populates. So you literally log into the platform and you can manage the offer process on the fly. I think that's really important to hit.
For sure. So what David's getting at here is on the dashboard, the main dashboard, all your properties that you have launched will be available here. If you don't, the first time you come into the system, you'll go, or anytime you go into the system when you have a new listing, you're going to go under MLS imports. Obviously mine's not going to show anything here because I'm not connected. My demo accounts are not connected to Korea. Yours, however, will be. You will see a container down below here where any of your active listings that are on realtor.ca will show up in here. And from there, you can click on import that listing and go through a few slides or a few screens to adjust your settings and then launch that property in the platform. And once you launch your property in the platform, it comes into this is what it looks like when you first open up that listing. So anybody that has access to this listing in our platform at the very minimal is going to see this property information here. So this is really just the public information we pulled down from realtor.ca. The main photo, the details about the property, but we also provide what level of details are being displayed or being shown around the offer process right away on this main page. So what this tells me is that if I'm as a buyer agent or a buyer that's looking at this for the first time, I know that I'm only going to be able to see how many offers are actually submitted on that property. I'm not going to be able to see anything else. So there's really no transparency turned on at this point. When I go to my timeline as the listing agent here, this is all the offers that have come into the system, that have come into the platform already. So that's either it's been uploaded by a buyer agent, or I as a listing agent have uploaded an offer that was sent to me by a buyer agent. Or perhaps you're double ending the deal because you're bringing a buyer to the process as well, or your hopes of double ending it, but you would be able to upload your own offers as well into the platform, similarly to any kind of a seller representative, a self-represented party. You would upload them into the platform as well, and they come up into the timeline here as a timestamp as to when that offer was submitted, the offer amount, and who the buyer agent is behind that offer. On top of that, you also get this little offer ID number. That is the anonymized number behind that buyer. So that's how the system tracks who the buyers are. It assigns them a number automatically. That number is never the same twice. And it just goes to protect who the buyer is. And the only people that are going to know who that buyer is, obviously, is the buyer agent themselves. but also the listing agent and the seller by virtue of the agreements that are going to be attached to the offer. But any of the other buyer and buyer agents will never know who's behind those offers. So in a sense, this really becomes your auditing trail as to what's happened with every single offer that has come in on this property. Under our offers tab here, this is where, as a listing agent, I'm going to be managing offers as they come in. You're going to see that we have a bunch that are verified, but we got one sitting in a pending status. So as soon as an offer is submitted or registered in the platform, so a buyer agent goes into the system to register an offer, it comes into this pending status. So what this does is it requires the listing agent to review all the documentation first, make sure that everything looks good with it, and then go ahead, as long as everything's fine, they can go ahead and verify that offer. If there's something wrong with the documentation, we do provide the ability for the listing agent to click on this resubmit, indicate to the buyer agent what's wrong, and invite them to fix it and resubmit that offer. So there's just a check and balance that's happening here, just to make sure that offers just don't get into the system without the listing agent first being able to vet everything first. And what happens there is, in the pending status, it's just sitting under here for the listing agent to see. It's not showing up in the timeline. The other buyer and buyer agents don't know that offer is there just yet. Once it's verified, then it gets put in the timeline. Everybody involved in the offer process are going to get emailed that a new buyer's joined the process. Seller gets notified there's a new offer to go look at, and that buyer also gets notified their offer is now verified, and it's now sitting in the system for the seller to review. Other things I can do as a listing agent in here, obviously I can reject an offer, I can accept an offer, I can also do a sign back and counter that offer directly within the platform. And the last thing I'm just going to quickly show you here is the ability to compare these offers. So we do have the ability to come in and select some of these offers as a seller or a listing agent. I can drag and drop these around as far as what I would consider to be the strongest offer versus the not strongest offer. As a listing agent, I can save that as a presentation. So I can take this and print it off as a PDF for perhaps my seller is not that technically savvy, so they don't have access to the system. At least you can still print everything off and provide them a paper trail of that, and go from there.
Do the download. There you go. Let's have a look at it.
It was taking a little while. I'm not sure why it took so long to download it, but have to open that up. My computer's being slow.
Computer's being slow. To get back, yeah, could you use a Mac?
It is a Mac. But there was also updates that were done recently, so who knows? Anyways, it's gonna bring up a PDF of basically that layout that I showed you here.
And for the record, that's the Mac and not the platform that's causing that that delay there, everybody. Just to be crystal clear on that.
Yeah, it should actually be opening up in a new tab here, but like I said, my computer did an update last night, so who knows what's happening there.
But if you have more than one offer on a property, it's always hard to keep track of terms, conditions. So I find that, if you put it into a side-by-side comparison guide, it makes it so much easier for your sellers to be able to really follow along and to be able to see a snapshot of exactly what's on the table, right? And that's really what you're doing using this program is, you're taking conditions, financing, deposit, closing date, and price, and putting it in a very easy to understand, logical offer for everybody to follow, right? So if you're in front of your sellers, it's easy to sit down, go over this side-by-side comparison. And if not, you can always get on a Zoom link, share your screen, and go over, you know, this on a side-by-side comparison, and then print off the PDF and email the PDF so they have that in front of them as well.
And great publicity as well. You know, you can put that, you know, there's nothing personal about this buyer that is included about these buyers or sellers. So, you know, you could put you know, you could use it on social media. You could use it on, you know, to help you drive more business and win business. So, yeah, those reports have been very, very popular among you know, people are creating complicated Excel spreadsheets to explain to their sellers what they've got on the table. Our platform basically does it, you know, automatically.
Yeah. And Ryan, you bring an interesting point, because I think as, you know, the market gets more comfortable with open offers, I think we are going to start seeing some of the practices being documented on social media and in real time, where agents are going to say, oh, look, in this 40-second clip, you know, through using the open offer process, I was able to generate an extra $100,000 for my clients because these 4 offers just kept overbidding each other. And, you know, look what I was able to generate for my seller clients. So, you know, I do think that moving forward, as scary as it sounds, we are going to start seeing more media surrounding this, this interaction.
Absolutely, totally agree.
Cool. I'm going to skip over observers for 1 second. We'll come right back to it. I just want to point out that we do have a document section where you can actually upload any kind of documents you need. You need the buyer agents to have access to, you know, whether they're floor plans or whether they're schedules of some kind. This is kind of an area where you'd upload those documents. You do have the ability to make some of them private or make them public. So there's a bit of control in there for that. And finally, the observers. Ryan kind of touched base on this when it comes to kind of finding your next leads and building your leads. This really becomes an opportunity to, well, Ryan, go ahead. You sell it way better than I do.
Yeah, so basically, first of all, as you can see, we're asking everybody who joins as an observer for their, you know, are they buying or selling? And we're getting their contact information as well, which they're giving to you. So everybody wants to know, like I said, what the property across the road, any offer, any information they can get about what's going on when the property across the road goes on the market. They want it, and so it's a very good way to engage with people and show them the great work that you're doing. One of my favorite tools. I talked about the referral aspect of the platform earlier. You know, you can see here, because we're revealing, again, the information that you're revealing today about the number of buyers, typically, we're revealing the number of buyers and the number of observers here, right? So, you know, you could sit down with your seller and say, hey, listen, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, the platform will be revealing, enable people to observe our campaign. The platform will be revealing to everybody how many observers there are. Now, that creates more perceived interest in your property. It's perceived competition from the participating buyers as well. So here is a link. Send this link to any friends, any family, any work colleagues, especially anyone who might be looking to buy or sell, because they should have an understanding of how this platform works. It's going to give them a good insight into the market. And so share this link with as many people as you can, because it actually helps me to achieve a better price for your property, which is 100% true. By virtue of doing so, it also gives you a great list of people to call and say, hey, thank you so much for observing. Let's have a chat about your property. That's kind of the observer feature in a nutshell. I also want us to show, before we jump into the transparency toggles, Trevor, just show how easy it is to receive an offer, because you know, it's literally a case of, hey, you want to make an offer? That's awesome. Here's a link to submit your offer through the system, and it just makes that offer taking process a real breeze as well.
Yeah, for sure. So under every listing that you have launched, under the manage, we have this share capabilities. So this is where Ryan talked about, this is something that you can share off through your social media and say, are you interested in this property? Click here to observe it. That's an option that you can do. You can sit there and automatically email this off to any buyer agent that's interested that wants to submit an offer on it. The other thing that we also tell clients as well is copy this URL and paste it in your MLS system where your private remarks section is. So the realtor remarks section or private remarks, or if you have an actual offer field in your MLS system, you'll put that link there as and then indicate if you're going to make an offer, click that link. What that does is it's going to open up for the buyer agent this ability. What a buyer agent's going to see is the same thing that you as a listing agent would see if you're also going to represent a buyer, or if you're going to upload an offer from a self-represented party. They're going to be given this opportunity to either import their offer documentation directly from Creo web forms, or they can just upload a signed their signed documentation directly from their computer. So they can quickly just come in, click and grab their documentation, click next. They literally have less than 10 fields to fill in and submit that offer, and they're on their way.
Awesome.
Now, this second option here is a buyer agent sends you the offer. They just couldn't be bothered to put the listing in their offer in the system. This gives you the ability to get that offer uploaded in the system. The only difference is you got to upload the PDF, and then you're going to have a field to indicate who the buyer agent and their agency or their brokerage that they're working with. That's really the difference that comes with those two.
So to recap that, it's, here's a link. Use this link to submit your offer to me, please. If you just then still get a random offer in your inbox, you just jump in and upload that yourself. So that is very, it's especially if the buyer's agent inputs it themselves. It's just a different platform to log into as opposed to your inbox to access that information, and the data's been filled out for you by the buyer's agent.
The last thing I'd point out under observers is because the system automates all of the communication aspects around the process of the offer. You could also add in other buyer agents that have expressed interest. So you're at an open house, an agent comes through. I might be interested. May have a buyer for you. Just let me know. Quickly add them in here as an observer, and the system's just automatically just let them know what's happening. That's another good user case for the observer role. And is there a question in the chat there, Ryan? Is there a way as an agent that you can see what other agents are doing with this as a test to watch how this happens? Also, is there an issue with... Go ahead, Ryan.
Okay, so the second part, is there an issue with observers if they are signed up with another agent? No different to if they were browsing Facebook and saw information. If they've joined your campaign as an observer, you've got their information. So I'd say it's no different to if you were to receive a message via LinkedIn or Facebook Messenger or whatever from someone who had a question about one of your properties. So that would be my take on that. Is there a way as an agent you can see what others are doing with this as to test it out? Look, it's early. It's very, very early for this process and this platform where we've got a handful of users only. We've prioritized partnering with brokerages as opposed to partnering with individual agents, which is a longer sort of roadmap to implementation in the market. But we also know from our experience in Australia a better one, and so that I'd say is the answer to that question. What I would say is it is those who lead that are going to be the best positioned to capitalize, because this is a point of difference, and so I would be treating it as such, and I would be using leverage off the fact that you're not going to see a great deal of it out in the market at the moment.
So let's now talk a little bit about the transparency side of things. As I mentioned earlier, when you import your listing for the first time, you're going to be brought to a set of screens to be able to adjust some settings. That's what these options are under here. And the biggest thing is the campaign tab. And this is really where you come in and set all your transparency options. Whether you want observers to be a part of the process at all, you can turn that off or on. You can allow the listing to go to Korea or not. You have that control. You can set a deadline. So if you want to have a delayed presentation of offers, you'll come in here and specify exactly what that is. But this is where you'll also, if you look at all the available fields here, this really is Form 209 that we've digitized into our platform. And so whatever the seller wants to be able to indicate to disclose, you can just come in here and check one of these things on. Before I do, I want to show you what the buyer agent sees first. So as a buyer agent now, this is their dashboard. You know, they see the same thing here, but the timeline looks different. I'm only seeing the offer that I submitted as a buyer agent. My buyer is going to see the same thing. I don't know who's behind anything else. I only know that I'm competing against 3 other offers, and I know that there's 4 offers in the system. Plus, I know what time those and date those offers came in. Under my offers tab, I just see my own offer. So now if we go back to the listing agent and controlling some of these settings, let's take a look at what happens when we start opening some of this stuff up. So let's take a look at strictly when we allow the ability for the offers to be ranked. As soon as I turned on offer ranking,
I might just pull a handbrake very quickly there, Trevor, and just to again make that point. So what you were seeing just then on that buyer's agent dashboard, that is the information that you're sharing today about your multiple offers situation, typically. And so, I talked about it earlier, where there is degrees of transparency. That's what we're looking at. Yeah, that's exactly what we're looking at now. So agents, they have a tendency, no matter how much I talk about it, to think offer transparency equals revealing the prices. We're about to show you the ranking feature. If you have this a difference between your leading 2 buyers of $20,000, $25,000, $30,000, this feature that Trevor's going to show you now is a perfect scenario where you might use that feature. And you know, we inevitably get someone saying, hang on, what about when I've got a difference between my 2 offers? Transparency is not going to be good for me. Have a look at what Trevor's about to show you now.
So on my buyer's dashboard now, I actually get to see that under the offers tab that I see the 4 offers now. I see my own, all of the information behind it. I don't see anything else as far as any of the other details behind the other offers, but I do know now that my offer is sitting in 3rd place, and this is strictly based off of value right now. So I know that there's 2 other offers in front of me, and that's all the information I have at the moment. If we look at our timeline, nothing's changed. Is there anything else you wanted to add to there?
No, hopefully people are getting are sort of joining the dots there. Like, how many times out there in the market have you just wanted to let a buyer know that they're not winning? The system, you know, without necessarily disclosing prices, the system facilitates that exact thing through that ranking tool.
Absolutely. So now let's go to another scenario where your seller has chosen to actually start peeling the layers back even more and start opening up some of the other information that's in here. And so let's just go ahead and just disclose the actual value. We can disclose the deposit. We can disclose financing, closing date, whether there's conditions around there or no conditions around that offer. Let's just turn it all on.
That special conditions field at the bottom there too, that's a text catch-all field. So if there was specific information that you wanted to type in, that you wanted to disclose about certain offers, you can do that through the system also.
And you also see that your settings for public are separate from what the buyer and buyer agents will be able to see. So you can control them independently. Now back on the buyer agent's dashboard, now my timeline is showing me what the actual values are of the rest of those offers. And now my offers tab is actually revealing also the information behind the offer themselves. Special conditions, you'll see that under here, under the rollout. So this is where, as a special condition, the listing agent would type those out, whatever they are, and that's going to appear here for the buyer agents to see.
And everybody gets notified when you make a change to your transparency. The system will automatically notify everybody that the transparency has changed also.
Right. So as soon as I came in here and clicked on offer ranking the first time, I got emailed about it, or all the buyer agents and buyers and observers, they all received an email. And again, when I turned everything on, another email went out. So anytime you make a change, everybody gets notified. So you might be asking, well, what does an actual observer see? So I do have an observer dashboard available to us to look at. Right now, as an observer, I'm only seeing the number of offers and a timestamp as to when they came in. Even though full transparency is turned on for the buyer agents and buyers, observers, that's all they're going to see is just the number of offers. Incidentally, this is exactly what's going to show on realtor.ca if there's no transparency turned on, but the information is allowed to go to realtor.ca. Now, if we actually come in here and turn some of the offer value information on.
In fact, Trevor, turn on, see how it says public and observers there at the top of that at the top of that list. If we turn on the career integration there, you'll see that actually changes to be your integrations and observers. So that column there will represent your career feed if you have that career integration turned on.
So now going back to looking at the observer, they still are they're just going to see a little bit more information and what the actual offer amounts are. And if they go to the offers tab, they're going to see that one of them has no conditions, but the others are.
So is anyone watching this and thinking to themselves, this platform cannot help me at all? There's no circumstance. There's no. Is anyone in that headspace, or are you thinking absolutely there are some applications for this that are going to help me achieve whatever goals I happen to have in my career as an agent? Because if that's the case, then I'd love to talk to you further and dive into exactly how and why we can help you achieve what it is you're looking to achieve in real estate. Because we've been doing it for a long time, and we've changed the businesses of a lot of agents. So yeah, any questions about any of that? That's a fairly comprehensive look, I think, at the platform. So yeah, keen to hear what everyone's thoughts are, what their concerns are around ease of use of the system, or any applications or scenarios.
Ryan, do you mind sharing your screen one more time and going over the integration with Realtor.ca? I know we briefly touched on that throughout the presentation, but let's take a look at that one more time, because I think that this is the key to really giving our realtors an edge in the marketplace in terms of their seller and listing presentations and the conversations that they're able to have with their sellers to win listings. To me, this is really where your product stands out.
Huge, yes. The size of their audience is unbelievable. How much traffic they are getting is huge. So if you can increase your engagement level on your share of those leads that they are distributing, it's going to affect your income. So disclosing here the number of offers that we've received on this listing.
Yeah, and let's
what our
When you're
highest.
disclosing the actual offer amount that you have, 7 offers, and the highest offer is $1.4 million in that particular situation.
That's right. This is obviously a test environment. There's a pretty good offer there at 1.4 million, highest offer for a property that's had $519,000 asking. I feel like they might have broken that record of 85 offers that the agent got the other day. Here we have the timeline when we have offers when offers are disclosed. Now we've got offers disclosed and we're tagging buyers as conditional or unconditional.
So just to reiterate, there's a couple questions in the chat that what Ryan's showing you here, this is exactly what the public will see in realtor.ca, pending what the transparency settings have been turned off or on that listing.
Here we have a couple of properties side by side. One being, they're both asking price identical. Highest offer here is $405,000. This listing is more engaging. It's going to get my attention more. First of all, I'm thinking as a buyer, of course, I might be able to get this for 410 because the highest offer is 405. Then we have and from a potential seller's perspective, this agent's certainly better than this one because this agent's got an offer.
Yeah. And guys, it's important to understand that this is completely optional. You can use it on a case-by-case basis. You can turn this on at any time. So if you're going through a multiple offer situation in the listing and 3 or 4 offers are really close, plus there's a couple buyers calling you and you know that there's a lot of eyes on this listing, you can log into OPENN, import the property, input all the offers, turn on the transparency, and Ryan and Trevor, correct me if I'm wrong, but in real time, Realtor.ca is going to pick that information up and display it to everybody taking a look. So that could drive more engagement, it can drive more offers, it can drive buyers that were sitting on the edge of their seat to the table. And also those 2 highest offers or the 3 highest offers, it really gives them a line. If you're marketing a really unique property, a waterfront property that hasn't been listed for 40 years, you want to make sure that everybody has a chance to go ahead and try to obtain that property. And what better way to do that than through an open and transparent offer process system? So this is definitely going to be a learning curve for a lot of the realtors. I think it's going to be a mind shift a lot of the times because a lot of us have been practicing in a closed offer system for the majority of our careers. So this is a new way of doing business. It's a new way of moving forward. But I think there's a big advantage here to the people that adopt this kind of process. And look, if you've staged the property, if you've made sure that you've done all the small little repairs, if you make sure that the landscaping is kept, if you have the best pictures, if you're marketing the property, then going through an open and transparent process is probably the best way of ensuring that the property is properly exposed to the market, that everybody has a chance of going and bidding for the property, and that you can prove to the seller that you've done absolutely everything to get them the absolute best price. We have a question here from Stan. He's saying, let's say that there are 5 offers and the buyer that submitted the highest offer at $50,000 over might have second thoughts about where he's standing in terms of the offer. Well, Stan, I would say in that case, don't disclose the price. If you have one offer that's miles ahead of everybody else, then disclose the ranking of the offers, but don't disclose the price so that the second offer still doesn't know where they are in terms of the money value, right? But they know they're behind. And if they really want to improve, they got to try a higher offer. And once they try a higher offer, you can rank the offers again. They can see that they're still behind the first offer.
Great
Perfect.
answer.
Perfect answer. Yes, great.
We have another question from Abu. Is this a paid plugin that needs to be enabled with one's listing, or is it a free value add with Realtor.ca? Well, it's definitely not free. I'm going to let Ryan and Trevor talk about the cost of what this costs if you were to go with them directly. Trevor and Ryan, do you guys want to get into the costs of what you guys charge?
Sure, absolutely. So basically, we to David's credit, he has negotiated with us a package with your brokerage, and I said it the other day. I applaud David and Sabiha on how they have really interrogated the tech over the course of many meetings. They certainly go into bat for their team. I would say so. I credit to you on your leadership on that front. As for the cost, the basic level transparency of the platform is included, unlimited. All you want to do. So that being revealing, taking care of your offer management through the system, i.e., if you've got a property that you're going to get 10, 20, 30 offers, whatever it might be, use the system to receive those offers from your buyer's agents, automate the process of communicating with those buyer's agents when new offers come in, etc. That basic level transparency of what you're providing today verbally is free for all of your listings, no problem, including sharing that information to the Realtor.ca audience. So that's all included. As soon as you want to activate those premium transparency features, that being revealing prices, revealing ranking, revealing your deposit or closing dates, etc. As soon as you want to activate those, now there is there's going to be a fee incorporated in that. Now, as a gesture to help you get familiar, knowing that this is a little unfamiliar to Canadian. The Canadian market, and no doubt a lot of you, we're going to include for 60 days all of that additional transparency. So you can activate the tool to any extent that you like, included for the first 60 days of your agreement with us. So make use of that time, and from there'll be a transactional fee. Beyond that, there'll be a transactional fee of $100 to activate that premium transparency. Remembering that you'll only do that when you are in circumstances where you're thinking, hey, this is going to help me get another $50,000 from my seller. This is going to help me get my seller aligned with the market, so that I'm not trying to educate this seller for 150 days, as opposed to aligning them with the market in 30 days. So that's kind of a breakdown of how the fees work. But most important thing is that you are all you can eat. Go for your lives for that initial period. So if anyone's got a multiple offer situation right now, or they're thinking that they're likely to get one, contact us. Reach out to us, and because you can turn the whole process around very, very quickly, as far as getting a listing into the system and getting a link out to your buyer's agents to say, hey, we've got a few offers here. We want to make this a transparent process to give everybody fair opportunity. So here's a link. Submit your offer to me via this link, and we will we'll provide instruction from there. What's that?
Two other questions came in there.
Yes. Are you guys offering technical support? The answer to that is yes, and we're providing some very comprehensive training in the way of training resources in the way of the system's very, very simple. As you saw from the platform there, launching your listings is incredibly easy. Receiving your offers is very, very easy, whether you send a link or whether you input those offers yourself. And then it's just a case of controlling that transparency. So yes, absolutely, we provide support. I don't think you're going to need too much of it, to be honest. But yes, the Karen offer good tilt. Basically, for the next 60 days, Karen, is where, and then beyond that, using the basic level offer management and basic level transparency will be continue to be.
Sorry, Ryan. Sorry, that's I think that's what the question's about. It's about I think it's about the date, the deadline setting in the system.
Yes, I'll let you talk to that one. I'll let you talk to that one. Sorry.
I'm trying to understand it a little bit myself.
Karen,
Offered
can you
details.
unmute
So this
yourself
is a
and
delayed
maybe ask
presentation
the
of offer.
question? Karen, can you unmute yourself and maybe ask your question so we can get
It had more to do with sometimes you might put in there a shorter time span, like make up your mind within the next 2 hours, and otherwise it's off the table.
So yeah, I'm actually going to show my screen again to demonstrate exactly that, because that's a scenario where you come in and you have these 4 buyers that are competing against each other, and you want to let the agents know that you're going to sit down with your seller like today at 5 o'clock. So you simply come in here, turn this deadline on to today at 5 o'clock, and save that. Now what's happened there is everybody involved just got emailed that a deadline has been enabled or turned on. And as a buyer agent, I now see I got till today at 5 o'clock to get my best offer in.
As for the question around having a buyer who puts a clause on their offer that to say that it expires, Karen, I would say to that point, it's going to become a part of your negotiation with that buyer. If that buyer wants to come in drastically underneath your asking price, say, then it's going to be a case of, hey, listen, allow me some more time here to, if you're going to come in at that low, allow me some more time. You're asking me to align my seller with this sort of offer and have that conversation with them. You've come in 100,000 below our asking price. Allow me a little bit more time on that. So it'll become a part of your negotiation. There, a lot of the agents that we're talking to are saying that they're just insisting upon a certain period of time, 72 hours as an irrevocable. So there's I guess there's technique in how you might go about that.
You have a timeline, 5 o'clock. What happens if you have an offer that comes in an hour later?
It still registers in the system. You still have the opportunity to look at it and validate it. If you are to verify it in, it's no different than you would receive one now through an email.
Good. So it doesn't cut it off from being able to.
No, it
The
can't.
only time it will is once you accept an offer and change that to the status to a closed status in the system, then at that point offers can no longer be registered.
Okay.
Some good questions. Thank you for those. Any more?
Yeah, I have one. If you go back, can you show the screen with the options there for when you rank?
In here?
Yeah. So in a lot of scenarios, I can think that it's not so much the highest offer that is number one to the seller. Sometimes it's closing date and they want to show the ranking as in the listing or in the seller's mind that's number one to them because it's a 30-day close. You can't do that, can you?
You can. So I can turn on offer rank and turn on closing date. And now if I go look at a buyer agent's dashboard, I can see those closing dates now. But that's turning it on. But you're referring to maybe more specifically sitting down with the seller and reviewing that. that's where I would simply just come in here and I would compare my offers, or the seller is going to see the same column here as well. They're going to see all the closing dates of every offer. So you can either do that comparison where you can bring everything in a nice tab format for them, which does reveal the closing dates on it. And at which point you might say, okay, you know what, that's a better deal because that's when I want to be able to close. So you bring that to the front as my strongest offer. And then that kind of helps the seller kind of see where things are sitting at.
Okay, so but as far as the public, or not the public, as far as the agents that are involved and the buyers that are involved in that, if you're checking off that you just want to show ranking, okay,
yep,
and you're not disclosing anything, can my seller put the closing date as their priority and just show that offer as ranking with the closing date showing? That would trigger to the buyer agents that, oh, the price isn't showing, it's the closing date that's most important, apparently, to the seller.
And the answer is not now.
Okay.
It's based off of value.
You could rank, you could reveal only your closing date, and that's it, as the only detail that you're revealing about your offers if you wanted to, and have the conversation verbally with your buyer's agents to say, hey, just to let you know, we've revealed closing dates to everybody because closing date is going to be very, very important to my seller here. They want to close as soon as possible. And so we have, we've enabled the closing date feature to be revealed. So that is, that's how you would probably manage that situation. We don't have a feature for you to be able to rank the buyers on closing date.
Okay. And in lieu of having to call all the agents and having those verbals, could you just do it, show the rankings, obviously, and then put the notes into all agents under special conditions?
Yeah, what the under special, you do have a comments, a comment field between yourself and buyer's agent that's not a part of the offer as such, but you also have, the special condition is basically what you're going to reveal. It's a comment about that offer that you're potentially going to reveal to everybody else.
Okay. So there you could put in, my seller is most considered on quickest close or something like that. Click that check mark, and then all agents see that note.
Correct. That's right. That's So that you can put anything you like in there. It's that's a catch-all field, free-form text that you can say to disclose some information about each offer.
Okay.
Thank you for the
Yeah. Sure. Another quick question is, if you have, say you're doing 3 or 4 and you have 2 or 3, say tech savvy or able agents, and you have one agent that's extremely old school and is not going to involve themselves in this whatsoever as far as this open-end, they just want to do old school, call me kind of thing. You have to deal with that and then take his information that you're getting and then have to input it for the rest to see, correct?
So you'd receive a traditional offer with to your inbox, or maybe if the agent's that out of touch, maybe they drive over and put the put the offer on your desk. You input that offer into the system. If you're revealing transparency through the system, and that agent doesn't want to engage with that, then they're putting their buyer at a huge disadvantage, I would say, first of all. But you could share the information via whatever means you like, but the system, by virtue of you inputting that offer into the system, you provide that buyer's details, and they will then be given access to the information through the platform. So I'd sort of say, look, it's the 21st century. We're using this system to reveal the information that my seller wants to share. If you're not, you know, if you can't, you know, click a link in your inbox to access the information, then, you know, that's on you. That's kind of, you know, that's how I would navigate that. But if you wanted to go to above and beyond for that agent to make sure they had access to the information, then, you know, you could email them, you could talk to them on the phone, you can manage that any way you like. But you certainly don't need their permission to put that offer into the system.
Okay.
Let's see what else we got.
Any other questions from anybody?
The buyer's agent can deny their personal details are not going to be shared with anybody, but if they submit an offer on the property, then it's up to the seller. You know, as per Tressa, it's up to the seller to decide what information is disclosed about the offer itself without disclosing the personal details of the buyer. Hopefully that answers your question there, Karen.
Yep. I think
So
this is
David,
great.
how is this going to work with now that you've signed our brokerage with Open? How is it going to work for us agents?
We're going to train the front desk. So between 9 to 9, Monday through Friday, and whenever the office is open on the weekends, the front desk will do their best to manage this offer process with your instructions. Outside of those times, then if you choose to participate and engage in the open offer process, you would manage the open offer process through the Open app yourself, Kelly.
Yeah, but the diligence remains with realtors to make sure any registered offers that are coming in, and if you are doing this process of open offers, then you have to make sure that all the paperwork is being sent to front desk in a timely manner for it to be uploaded. But I really would you know, insist on anybody who's interested to do this to actually equip themselves with all the training and, you know, hands-on, so that you should know best. Front desk can help you and facilitate, but they cannot, because there's a whole process to this, right? There has to be a whole thought process of what is being revealed, why is it being revealed, what is going on, because that's when it'll add value to your business. And unless you understand the full back end and front end of it, you won't be able to use it to its best potential.
Yeah. So we our launch date with Open was supposed to be the second week of March. And between now and then, we're going to be working very hard on training the staff and making sure that we have some information sessions for you guys, where we're going to be doing some hands-on training and making sure that you guys use the software to its fullest potential. And like Sabiha said, you know, there's going to be circumstances where there's going to have to be a lot of planning in terms of pricing strategy to make sure that you get the most out of this software. And that's going to have to be done together with the seller. So, you know, we're going to be doing a lot more training and a lot more scenario-based training with you guys to show you guys when those situations arise as we continue to go on this journey together. You know, this is, again, December 1st, so literally a few weeks around the corner. Like Ryan said, we've been talking since that date about bringing this and giving this tool and resources to you guys. We're going to be learning this together. We're going to be going on this journey together. So, you know, thank you guys as you guys are patient as we go through this together and learn this new technology and learn another way to set ourselves apart from our competition and offer another value-added service if you choose to your sellers. To help them sell their property in a more open, transparent manner.
So the $100, again, what is that? I understand it gives you all the features, but is that per transaction, monthly, annually?
Yeah. So that fee, first of all, we're not going to apply anytime soon, but it is for your it's a transactional fee for that property. Once a property has paid $100, then that property will not pay again. It's a case of you pay that once, you've then unlocked all the premium level transparency features. So that's how that works. And it's per property. It's usually, you know, it'll be a credit card payment that's entered in at the point of unlocking that, you know, ticking that box. Click save. Hey, this is a premium feature. You got to pay $100. That could be your seller's credit card that gets punched in, or it could be yours, or talk to David. I don't know. Terrible joke.
So guys, just to take a step back, usually, Ryan, do you guys charge $29.95 a month for this service?
Sorry?
How much do you charge if an agent approaches you directly?
We're not doing individual agent at the moment. We're not doing any individual agent.
Oh, I see. Okay, but there was a monthly charge, and then, you know, so there's a subscription charge, and then if you want to unlock the premium services, it's $100. For us, we're paying the subscription charge on behalf of all agents at Sutton Realty. So there will be no subscription charges billed to you guys for the basic services. Sutton Summit will bear those monthly expenses on everybody's behalf. And, you know, this is our commitment to bringing you guys the best technology, the best sort of tools and resources for you guys to use as agents being part of this brokerage. So that's Sabiha and my commitment to you. The only charge that will remain is to unlock that premium transparency setting, and you will only be billed on a case-by-case scenario if you make a decision to disclose the ranking or the price on realtor.ca and the closing date, right? If you want to just disclose how many offers there are on the property, that's a free service that's available to all Sutton Summit agents moving forward if you're using the open platform to advertise your listing.
And guys, if I may for a second, see, this is another tool when you're going in your listing presentations and all of that, just to tell them that it is accessible to you. You do not have to use it unless you come into that situation. I mean, even if, say, just you got one offer, there's no really reason for you to go in and use the full platform, you know, just saying offer was registered and all of that, and the disclosure being there is good enough. But it's a great conversation to have, especially right now, because, you know, like I always, whenever I'm training, I'm saying real estate is something everybody wants to talk about here in our area of GTA, right? It's the weather or real estate, the two favorite topics. So everybody is talking about it. These open offers are the big conversation right now for you to turn around and say, hey, yeah, we have this facility at our brokerage for our sellers. I think it's just a great selling point, even as part of your listing presentations.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Two last questions, quick ones for you, Ryan. What's the percentage of brokerages in Australia that's using this?
Good question. It varies enormously depending on where you are in the country. So there's parts, there's parts of Australia where it's barely adopted, and there are parts of Australia where we've had 50% of market, basically 30 to 50% of the entire properties being sold through within that market are being sold through the open through open process. So it really just depends, because agents, brokerages adopt it as a point of difference, and then once they use it, they're using it on all their listing presentations, and they're going out to, so they're using it on all their listings, and they're going out to the listing presentation and saying, this is what we do, and it's amazing, and look at the results we've had on these properties. Here's the outcome we had at this property. Here's the outcome we had at this property. I've got once explain in your listing presentation to a potential seller why the platform works, if you can then get them to observe a campaign that goes well, your chances of getting that business are so high, because they've seen you talk the talk, and then they observe one where you're walking the walk, and it's profoundly powerful for them in terms of winning listings. So that it becomes something that they basically do as their strategy on a lot of well, basically all of their listings, and so hence why in some markets it's high percentage, and in other markets, but nationally it would be very low. It's not like yeah, that would be as a percentage of every property that's being sold. I don't know exactly what it is, but yeah.
Sure. And lastly is how many in Canada, how many brokerages have signed up?
A handful. We've got a couple of very large organizations that are sort of incorporating, how would you describe it, Trevor? They're building their own technology, but ultimately to complement or integrate into ours. That's taking a little bit of time, and it's taking quite a lot of our resources as well. So it's not a great deal in Ontario at the moment, but when it comes, it's going to come fairly thick and fast. I would foresee. So
I think we're one of the pioneering brokerages that is adopting this sort of technology, for our agents, which is something that we're very proud of.
Yeah, that seems like it would be a nice selling feature to say in a listing presentation that Sutton Group's doing this, and like to say that nobody else is. That would be good. But in the GTA, how many brokerages? That would help me.
It's hard. Again, I don't want to be vague or feel like I'm evading the question, but we've got beta testers who are
Ryan, more than 10 or less than 10?
Less than 10 brokerages.
So we're
your competitor down the road won't be using it. You put it that way. Your competitor down the road is not using it. I'll be very, very confident of that.
Excellent.
We were talking. I was talking to Ryan and to Trevor the other week, and I was saying, use somebody that is growing their farming neighborhood, and say they have 4 listings in their farming neighborhood, and we tend to discount how many eyes are on our listings on Realtor.ca, right? But say that there's a number of neighbors that are keeping tabs of these 4 properties that are listed in a farming neighborhood, right? And every single listing that's being listed is displaying offer information, right? And God forbid you start displaying like the highest offer information, you actually start turning those premium buttons on. People are going to take notice, right? Especially if you can substantiate some great results on the selling price. People are going to start taking notice, and the next realtor that they interview, they're going to say, hey, listen, I want the same thing to happen to my listing, right? Only to do that, they're going to have to come to a Sutton Summit realtor to get their house on the market. So I think if you use this correctly, and if you build the right attention around this product, I think you're gonna be able to use it very successfully to market and to differentiate yourself and to give yourself an edge, and staying compliant too. Like Sabiha and I were talking about that situation that had 85 offers 2 or 3 weeks ago. Like through that offer process, there's no way that they're going to have less than 4 or 5 RICO complaints about that offer process, right? Not to mention the complaints and the negative user experience. But remember, 82 offers, there's 81 offers that weren't successful. There's only 1 offer that was successful. The asking price or the final price that that property generated was far below what I thought it would with 85 offers, right? But now if you disclose that price and everybody knows what that gold standard is, what they have to meet to actually buy the property, I bet you any money that the seller would do much better than what they did in that situation, just because everybody would know, hey, this is the line. And I bet you there'd be at least half of those offers that would say, you know what? I think I'm willing to go over that line, even by $1,000. And that would get the ball rolling even further. Not to mention, managing that offer process and, going through all of it. Everybody gets a link to the platform, they submit their offer, you verify, you show everybody in real time what the highest offer is. Everybody knows what's going on. You display that highest offer on Realtor.ca in real time so that other people who have been monitoring, think about it, 82 offers. How many people chose not to submit an offer in that property because they thought it would go for a crazy price? But now those people are seeing the actual price that the house is going to sell for being displayed publicly in Realtor.ca. How many of those people are picking up the phone, calling their realtor and saying, you know what, if it's only this price, I'm in. I want to submit an offer because I think I can do better than this.
Or how many owners of properties that are similar to that 85 property with 85 offers, the seller is, the owners of that property are saying, fine, they've got 84 buyers who want that property. It's not too different from our place. Let's call that agent and have a chat with them about what they think. They got 84 buyers there that have missed out on that place. One of those buyers is going to be able to is going to want to pay a premium for us. So let's call that agent in and have a chat about what he can do in terms of getting us sold. So yeah, if that agent had put on Realtor.ca 85 active offers, goodness knows how many emails he's had through us talking about that. But he would have got even more if he'd put the information on Realtor.ca. That's for sure.
Abu has a question. Abu, if you want to come online and ask your question.
Yeah, my question is how safe is this software, the piece of software that you're having? I understand you are probably using a database to store all this, and then if somebody gets access to your database where people didn't want to reveal some information and somebody went through backdoor and started accessing your information, that will be kind of a big.
It would be obviously our data security is of incredible importance. We're an ASX, we're a stock listed company. We understand very profoundly the importance of data integrity. So we are, our system is, we invest a lot of money in protecting the security of our system. So it's a good question, but you can we're not a garage operation. In excess of $20 million, I believe, has been invested in the technology that we're obviously providing to you for a fraction of that. So I'm not a coder. I haven't built this technology in my garage. We've got a serious design team, a serious engineering team who care very much for data privacy.
Abu, thank you.
Yeah, and my next question is, I see that enabling those premium features and all now, we as an agent, we might end up doing some mistakes. We may not have intended to enable some switch and we might have enabled. Do you have any kind of provision that when I enable something, some account which will give me the view that I can see that what is getting enabled in real time, even before it gets opened up to the public or to the other agents? Say I want to reveal the prices of the second highest offer, not the highest offer. And I don't know if I've enabled it properly or not. And now I enable, everybody gets notification that there is something got enabled. People come and see it live. Live is always very dangerous. You want some kind of filtering or some level of security before it goes live. So is there a preview mode where I know that what I'm making available to others, how it exactly going to look like before it goes live?
The way to explore that would be to use our training system. So everybody gets access to the training, the training platform, sandbox environment, whereby you can play the role of any given party, and so you can explore the system within the training environment. As for like a preview or anything like that, no. Once you've saved the information, it's shared as per once you send an email, it's sent. Once you save your transparency, it's there. You can untick it again and change it in real time. But I'd liken it to sending an email. Once you click save, the data is sent. But the training environment allows you, as Trevor was just using, it allows you to jump between personas. If you wanted to replicate any sort of situation and see it from the buyer's perspective.
Okay. All right. I'm again coming to the security question, like who all has access to the data and the underlying data? I mean, I understand that you follow all the security protocols. It's a great system. Now, when I enable this, other than the listing agent, who all will or might have backdoor entry to that data, and how are you obscuring that data so that other than the listing agent, no one should get access to that data, no matter what, not kind of like even if it's an administrator of the system, no, cannot get that access.
Yeah, the brokerage has access. You have access as the listing agent. Buyers agents don't get access, or buyers or sellers. Everyone's personal data is protected. You and your brokerage are the ones who are privy to the details of your office.
Okay, thank you.
And are your transactions saved?
Yes.
So the next time you log in and you're going to start a new evening or whatever, you can go back and refer to the one that happened last week?
Yep, absolutely. Print off a timeline of all of the offers that were received on that property and print it off and take it to your next listing presentation. Absolutely. You can look at all of your offer history on your listings that you've managed through the system is kept.
Okay. And David, can I ask you, is this tool, what do you think about this tool being used for like a process where a lot of agents did when it was blind? They would lowball. They would list the property for, 100,000 under. And then if you did that and you were the only one, say very few brokerages, and using this option, what do you see happening on something like that?
I mean, I think you have to take on a case by case scenario, Kelly. I think, underpricing a property is dangerous. It has its own issues, like we've seen with this townhouse situation that happened in Mississauga a couple of weeks ago. It didn't result in a higher price. I think with, an open and transparent offer process, it probably would have. But, again, I this is a fairly new process in Canada. We're still learning. We're going to have to see what the best practices are. We're going to be sharing those best practices as best as we can with you guys. But I think taking it on a case by case scenario and utilizing this software where it makes sense on an individualized basis can add tremendous resources to your belt of tools. What that looks like, I don't think we can say, hey, use this on every single listing, make this available to everybody, use this on every single offer presentation. I think that would be counterintuitive. I think it's still very, very early. But we're excited where this is going and what sort of opportunities this presents for the industry and for you guys as Sutton Summit agents.
I
have a question, if I may, please.
Yes, of course, Nader.
So the question is, we just use clients' directions to follow. as far as getting information out there for agents. What this platform gives us, as opposed to right now we use Broker Bay to communicate as far as the number of offer goes, and if the direction of client tells us to have an open number, open offer, we can communicate that through Broker Bay right now. So what is the difference right now between this platform, Broker Bay?
Another the big thing is the Realtor.ca connection. So it's actually available for public. Broker Bay is not available for public. So that's one of the biggest parts of it. Broker Bay also does not store anything other than your 801s. Right? So this is not, so this is organizing your paperwork. It is keeping all tabs of how the offers are coming in. You're revealing whatever part of it, which is an understanding between you and your clients. But it's also accessible to, so there's multiple different steps and facets to this program, which are not quite there for Broker Bay. It's just communication basically between you, the other realtors, and your clients possibly. That's it.
I think one thing that we never really talk about, and that gets missed quite a bit, is the transactional information that the platform spits out as well. So if you're ever brought up in front of someone's complaining that you did something wrong, well, you have a complete log of everything that transpired during that offer process, and that really will help dispel any notion of there was wrongdoing that took place.
Yeah. Awesome, guys. Well, Ryan and Trevor, thank you very much for this insightful webinar and for giving us a introduction into the open platform. Ryan is going to be at our awards ceremony coming up as well, and we're going to do a number of other information sessions with Open as well to keep you guys informed. And then once we actually do our launch, we will be doing a demo session, which will show you guys how to use the platform and show you guys all that as well. So thank you guys for joining. I know this has been a really long session. We went over a lot of information. Thank you for staying until the very end. And Ryan and Trevor, I look forward to cultivating a deeper relationship and going on this journey of open, transparent offers together with you guys and Open.
Awesome.
Equally excited over here. Thanks everyone for your time and for the good questions. And yeah, we can't wait to see you getting amazing results and listing more properties and doing more deals and getting better outcomes for your clients. So yeah, we're excited too.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great day.
You as well.
You too.